Rod Fleming in the Philippines. Just a quickie this time. And it's really a question. By the way, please remember, we do need the money, so please bump a little dosh our direction, you know, just to show how nice you are. I'll put up the addresses. Has anyone else noticed, because I certainly have, that Google's search responses have plummeted in quality over the last few years? It's really got bad. I'm not really sure how neutral Google was, 5, 6, 7 years ago, but it sure seemed a lot more neutral than it does now. To give an example, the other day, I have a channel on BitChute, and it used to have a whole load of stuff on it, and suddenly it disappeared. Nice. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I mean, yeah, I might try and repopulate it, but it's a lot of effort, We'll see. I'm on Odyssey, and that seems to work just perfectly. BitChute just seems just a little bit more flaky than Odyssey. Anyway, going back to the Google search, I was searching for BitChute because, BitChute. I mean, you can put in https blah, 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 bitchute.com, you'll get there, but I'd been lazy, BitChute. And it came up with the usual list of Google responses, and my Google is set for 100 on the first page because it's so quick that it's not worth having. I mean, who has 10? For goodness sake. The first 10 are always adverts anyway. So, you immediately scroll down past the first 10, which are all bullshit, and then it's article after article after article about why I should not go on BitChute, about why BitChute is this dreadful extreme right-wing platform, and all sorts of other nonsense. Now, none of these platforms are actually right-wing. There may be right-wing voices on them, but they're not themselves right-wing. And even if they were right-wing, what's wrong with that? If it's all right to be left-wing, why is it not all right to be right-wing? What is going on here? What is the idea that everything has to be pushed towards a left-wing liberal vision? Well, I find that really offensive. I don't think it's okay for other people to decide what I should be thinking or what material I should expose myself to in order that I can make up my own bloody mind about it. And this actually goes back to something that Tim Pool said in one of his pieces quite recently. I do actually see stuff, I don't just sit here on my thumb all the time. Anyhow, Tim said that there's this thing that I'll call it leftward creep. I don't know if that was actually his word, but leftward creep, what's that? It's the fact that for decades now, what he said was that, he was talking about the US situation, but he was saying that basically, you get a Republican government in for administration in for 4 years, whatever, and they don't do anything. They basically just, fine, carry on. Let's just administer and not get involved, Trump was not like that, but the others, generally speaking, they really don't do anything. Whereas, as Poole put it, not my words, but Poole's put it, he says, as soon as the Democrats come in, they just come in and wreck everything. They do as much damage as they can in the time they've got, knowing or feeling confident that the Republicans will not change it. And of course, they got a really bad fright when Trump came along because he started pulling everything out. Nope, we're not having this liberal crap. We're going to get rid of it. And he didn't like that. But the actual consequence of all these years, these decades, in which moderate centrist, because the Republicans are not right-wing, for fuck's sake. I mean, there might be a few right-wingers amongst them, but the party itself, do me a favour. Same is true in Britain. The Conservative Party exists to get the sons of well-heeled gentlemen into Parliament. It doesn't really have a political position, It's conservative. We want things to stay the same. How is that right-wing? They're not going in and saying, now we need to have, we need to wear jackboots and do Nazi salutes or any of that stuff. They're not saying that. But the trouble is that because whenever the left gets in, they do a huge amount of damage, as much as they can possibly get away with, or succeed in doing in the time that they're in. But the centrist, conservative governments who come in between, they don't really do very much. What's happened is that the whole plot has moved enormously towards the left, even in my lifetime. And my consciousness of politics, I'm 65 now, and it certainly goes back 50 years. And, we have moved radically to the left in that period. And it's not a good thing. I mean, who said, well, what is progress? Explain what progress is. Progress is surely the business of making sure that everyone is, comfortable and can look after themselves, right? Making everybody better off, sure, that's progress. Leftists don't quite see it like that. They seem to see it as being, let's have lots of government and let's government decide what you're going to do, what you're going to be allowed to do. And of course, in the last 2 years, we have seen an absolutely disgraceful display of this, as governments have arrogated to themselves powers that they absolutely do not have. And I've never seen such blatant ultra vires as has happened across the planet with things like, look, who gave the government a right to lock down? They work for us. We're not slaves to the bloody government. The government works for us. We pay them. You pay your taxes, you pay the government. The government is supposed to do as it's told. Right? And yeah, they've really lost the plot here. So we've had this leftward creep that's been going on for many years, decades, and then suddenly you've got this almost fanatical level of, how could you put it? It's dictatorial. It's this intransigent authoritarianism of the left. You must do this. And I mean, look at Australia. Australia is completely destroyed. It has been completely destroyed. It's now a police state. Good luck getting that reversed. Oh, that's all I can say. Good luck getting that reversed. The Australians were so stupid to let their government take their guns away. I mean, for goodness sake. Absolutely, for goodness sake. It's absolutely outrageous. Australia is now a police state because of a disease that kills. It has killed, we won't actually know how many. It's killed 400 million people out of 8 billion. It's like 0.01%. It's a nothing. It's an irrelevance. The problem was just that it fucked up the administration. It made it difficult for governments to administer the place. And therefore they said, oh, you're all locked down now, and you have to wear masks, and you have to get stupid injections that don't do any good. So this is what's happened. The result of the leftward creep that Tim Poole was talking about was to prime us for a situation where government would seize total control of our lives. And that's what it's done. That's what it's done. I don't actually believe that the C-19 virus was released into the wild deliberately in order to do this. But the fact is that it has been very successful in doing this. Really, really. So when and if all of this finally comes to an end, which is not any time in the near future, because they always hold back, they're always holding this blackmail. We can lift the restrictions just now, but if there's a reason, or any reason at all, we'll just put them back on again. We'll just turn it back into a police state with curfews and masks, and you're not allowed outside the house. And you can't meet more than 3 people. You can't go to your granny's funeral. All that sort of stuff. We need an actual revolution. We need people to get out there and tear these institutions down because it's enough. The left has now made itself into the most authoritarian. It's the Soviet Union all over again. And it has to be destroyed. It just has to be destroyed. Sorry, folks. It's going to be nasty. It's going to have to be nasty. Because they will fight nasty. The left always gets nasty. Soon as they think that things are being rolled back, that they're not going to get their way anymore, that's when they turn nasty. Don't look at, all these lovely left-wing politicians and think, they're really well-meaning souls. They're not. They're control freaks. They want to control you. And if you defy them, well, there is actually no limit to what they'll do to you. That was proven. That was proven in the Soviet Union. That was proven in China. That was proven in Vietnam. proven in Cambodia, proven all over Eastern Europe. If these people are not actually thrown out, physically thrown out, then they will lock you down forever. Enjoy it. Bye, Z.